Do you think there's anything that causes abscesses more in certain breeds of horses or environments, or if you had to name one common reason why you see horses with abscesses?
The most common reason we see abscesses, Clinton, I think is from farriery. And from farriery techniques, the amount of time or amount of intervals people have their horses trimmed and the way their horses are trimmed. A lot of horses, if you leave too much toe on there, too much heel on there, foot conformation, anything that changes the width and the consistency of the white line can go ahead and lead to an abscess.
Right, okay. The good thing about it is even though they're pretty painful when they come out, they can also be cleared up pretty quickly too.
Yes, they can.
You know what I mean? Once you relieve that pressure, it's I kind of you know, think about it like a boil. Once you knock the head off that boil or an infected sore, that pus comes out and it's an immediate relief for the horse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I've gone back to riding them again the next day.
Absolutely.
You know, they've been three-legged lame, acting like their legs broken. You get it drained and packed. If you really need to, you can go back to riding them the next day.
If the need be, usually that certainly does happen.
You know, if it's draining and the pressure's been taken away, and you absolutely
and
need
you
to
dry
ride
it up,
you
you're absolutely right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you're a competition, you need to get back out there. I've had that happen before. If you can give them a few days off, that's great.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep.
Dr. O'Grady, are we pretty much done with this horse now? Is there anything else we want to talk about with the hoof while we've got him here?
I think, Clinton, we've covered abscesses pretty good, but animal Lintex is shown to be very useful for laminitis. In laminitis, obviously it's a circulatory problem within the lamina. We use animal Lintex around the coronary band to promote some circulation, maybe enhance some of the blood flow, work very good. Horses with quarter cracks, before the quarter crack opens up, horses will be a little sore on one side, a little pain from the coronary band. Bandage that foot for 24 hours with animal Lintex, and it seems to pull the inflammation out and show you have a quarter crack. Usually hot, yes.
Animal intake is usually dipped in hot water.
Yeah, because most of the problems that you deal with the foot, you want to dilate those vessels instead of constricting them.
Okay.
Right.
So
it's the difference between hot, dilate the vessels, cold, you want to constrict the vessels like a huge swelling on a limb. Put an animal Lintex on cold, and it's ideal.
Okay, well that's good to know. Okay. Well, let me get the next horse out. We've got a fresh injury that could use some of your attention.
Okay, thanks very much.
Now, Dr. O'Grady, this is a horse that I just got in training. He's a 3-year-old rein and futurity horse. Anyway, I've recently got him, and believe it or not, he already injured himself. I had him tied up at a trailer yesterday, taking him off to the farm and riding him around. And I don't know if he kicked the side of a trailer or what happened, but he put a big old nasty slit just above his coronet band on his back foot. And we had the vet come out and stitch it. They put about 15 stitches in it. He just wrapped it up yesterday. In addition to that bandage, what else would you recommend I could do with this leg?
I think it's a very substantial bandage to cover the wound, but when you have inflammation down the coronary band, a lot of times you'll get some soft tissue swelling above the injury, coming sometimes all the way up the leg. One of the ways we counteract that is to go ahead and bandage the limb, at least up to the hock, to put counter pressure on there to eliminate some of the swelling.
What are you using to do that? What kind of material?
I've been using, this is Gamgee roll. It's a really high absorbent kind of a roll. Really gives you good counter pressure. It conforms to the leg good. And then the interesting thing about it, if you have a wound on the leg, it's got that non-adherent properties through the entire
So it's not going to stick to the wound?
It's not going to stick to the wound.
Okay,
Works wonderfully that way.
That's a big deal.
Okay?
Okay, we'll put that on, mate.
Okay, I'll be happy to bandage that. Okay, we'll take it out of the package. Okay. As we approach the back of the horse, okay, we always want to start from the front. Okay.
So this can actually go straight onto a wound as well, correct?
Straight onto a wound, okay.
And it's not going to stick to it?
It's not going to stick to it. It's going to be not completely non-adherent. But you'll see how nice it rolls on, how much body and mass it has, okay, and it gives just absolutely wonderful counter pressure. We're going to go ahead and we're going to finish off the bandage with 3M vet wrap, okay, and we're going to start at the bottom.
How tight do you want to make it, mate?
Okay, basically as I pull it over toward myself, okay, not too tight, but you want to make it firm, okay? Just find the fetlock, give you a little anchor, and just take about 1/3 of the tape and just overlap it as you go up the limb, trying to leave the tail out.
And this will reduce the swelling from that injury from his foot.
This will actually not reduce it, it'll actually prevent it.
Okay.
If you already have swelling, yes, it will reduce it markedly.
Right.
Okay? Once we've gone all the way up the leg, we can go ahead and take half the distance and start back down until we reach the end of the
So you can just cut off how much of this roll you need for a particular injury, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah. The other thing I'd like to mention very quickly, of horses that have lymphangitis, you can take a roll of the Gamgee roll, start at the fetlock, and run it all the way up their leg to counteract some of the swelling. So it's a really...
What is that thing you just said? What is that disease?
Lymphangitis.
What is that?
That's an inflammation of the lymphatics where occasionally the horse will come up with a swollen limb from either the knee, the shoulder down, or the stifle down.
Okay, and that'll help take that swelling down.
One of the best treatments for it is, again, counter pressure.
Okay.
Yes.
What else can you give advice to the viewers, mate, about just general care of your horse's legs and hoof?
Okay. The hoof is unique in that it is a biological entity that follows the laws of mechanics. And I'll go back again. The horse is going to perform at the top of his game if he has a healthy foundation. Keeping that foundation healthy revolves around good, practical farriery.
That's correct. Okay, I will agree with that. You know, the barefoot deal that I follow a guy called Pete Ramey, and he does an excellent job.
I know him well.
Yep, and he does a lot of good work, and by no means are we an expert. We do it ourselves, but we do the best we can, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We're
Sure.
certainly not as good as him, that's for sure. But I found that in most cases, if you do it correctly, you can keep most horses barefoot. I'm not going to say every single one. There's always exceptions to the rule. But most horses you can keep them barefoot if you do it the right way and you take care of the hoof properly. Like Diaz, I can ride him over rocks, gravel, take him on trails. I can pretty much take him anywhere, and he's just stays sound. You know what I mean? Because he's got a real thick sole.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's calloused up
Yep.
pretty well.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Well, listen, mate. Thank you for taking the time to come on the show. I really appreciate that.
Very nice to be here.
I've
Thank
certainly
you.
learned some stuff. I hope the viewers have learned some things. And just remember that, you know what? Hoof abscesses can show up at any time. They can seem really bad at the time, you know, as far as the horse's lameness, but you can get them taken care of very quickly, especially if you follow the techniques that Dr. O'Grady has showed us here today. You use the right products from 3M, and it can really make a big difference to getting your horse back healthy and sound again.